Scientists, welcome to How to Write a CER, The Evidence, with Bill Nye. Okay, so just a reminder, when we started this CER, we were trying to prove that Bill Nye is a real scientist. So we need to go find some evidence that proves that Bill Nye is a real scientist. Okay, evidence is proof. It's either from a reliable source, written information, or from data we've collected in the lab. For this one, we're going to do written information from a reliable source. And teachers like to refer to evidence as a lot of different things. Most often we say text evidence or quote from the text. Sometimes we say evidence from a reliable source. But I think text evidence is the most common one. Quote from the text is the second one. Now, that does not mean it's a quote somebody said. In fact, it shouldn't really be a quote somebody said. I don't need Bill Nye to say a quote. I need to prove with text evidence that Bill Nye is a scientist, right? Okay, so let's have a look at what that looks like. Where can we find text evidence? Well, you guys, it's all in your Google Drive Science folder. So on the Scientist Study Resources, you can go back to the actual scientist you studied, and we can look through the slides and look for some text evidence. This is a great place to start. So let's look at, I know you don't actually have Bill Nye, but I have this wonderful sample version to show you. So let's go back and kind of look at the slides. So, all right, here we have Bill Nye. The tricky part, this one, it's not a sentence. It's like a small description. An award-winning science communicator, engineer, inventor, author. No, that's not going to work. Okay. Bill Nye started out as a mechanical, yeah, but this is bullet points. Bullet points don't really work for text evidence. No, that's not going to work. Okay. Oh, this is a quote. Everyone you will ever meet knows something you don't. Yeah. Well, that doesn't match our claim. And it's a quote that doesn't talk about him being a scientist, so that definitely doesn't work. Bill Nye is a scientist, engineer, comedian, and inventor. He has a BS in mechanical engineering from Cornell. Oh, wait a minute, this might work. We're going to come back to this one later. We're going to be like, okay, this has some potential. That looks good. All right. This is just simply the Bill Nye the Science Guy theme song because I thought it was funny. That's not going to work. Oh, my red arrow didn't show up. There it is. Okay, and then the very last slide has like more information. If I didn't find something I liked, I could click here and find something there, and those could totally work. But I did find something I like. It's back on this slide. So I don't want to copy and paste this entire thing. That's a lot of text. I want kind of a nice little quote. So I'm thinking maybe like this part. That's one, two. That's two really good sentences. I could maybe include the first one. But I'm already proving he's a scientist, so that feels to me like it's repetitive. And the bottom part talks about his doctorate degrees. Those are interesting, but it doesn't actually talk about him being a scientist, right? I'm trying to prove that he's a scientist. So when I'm looking at my evidence, it talks about engineering, which I know is a form of science. It talks about him working at Boeing and making airplane parts, cool, on the 747, right? And studying under Carl Sagan. Carl Sagan is a very well-known scientist. So that to me is a lot of good evidence that matches my claim. A lot of times people just copy and paste something and hope it's right. Really think about it. Does this evidence actually match my claim? All right, so since I found it and it matches, I'm gonna go ahead and copy it right now. Now I am not done, because right now this is written like it's my words, but these aren't my words. So how can I show that they're not my words? How can we make it look like evidence? Forgot that slide was there. I can put quotation marks around it. Cool. Now it says it's not my words, and it looks a little bit more like evidence, but I'm missing something. It's not saying where I got my evidence from. Well, I got my evidence from this thing that says Bill Nye Engineer. So I'm going to take the title and say, according to Bill Nye Engineer, and I linked it because I think that's a really good idea. And then I have quotation marks. Now this looks like evidence. Well, wait, how do we do that with our scientist, Mrs. Budrow? Oh, I'm so glad you asked that question. So you would take a quote, and again, you can use a quote that's right in the text like this, or if you don't like those, you can always click on the link at the bottom and see if that has something that you'd rather quote. but I really like this one. Dr. Kelly's work uses math, computer science, and a lot of coding. He works in a lab with very powerful computers and partners with scientists who work in biology. And then I'm going to put it into a little part of my evidence. And then before it, I'm going to make sure it's in quotes, and I'm going to write, according to Dr. David Kelly, computer scientist. Or if I'm doing somebody else, I'd say, according to Noor El-Alousi, epidemiologist, and then quotation, and then I would copy and paste the text evidence quote. Good luck, scientists. Oh, no, not good luck, scientists. If you want to be even more sophisticated, level it up a little bit, make it a link. If you don't know how to make a link, ask one of your classmates. Somebody totally knows. Ha, now, good luck, scientists.